The Behemoth. For some, it is a biblical creature that rules over the land. For others, it's a game that was revealed at the Game Awards recently. But for me, I think about the Behemoth, the games company, developers of some of my favorite games. And today, we're going to be reviewing all of them. I have played all of them to some extent, and we're going to be going through and kind of getting my thoughts on each and every one. Well, let's get started. The first game on our trip is Alien Hominid. Specifically, Alien Hominid HD at this point because the main Alien Hominid has kind of been buried. This is probably the one that I have kind of the least experience with, mainly because this game was one that I never had the full version of. I only had the demo, and we never beat the demo because I'm stupid. But Alien Hominid was kind of the first trek of the Behemoth, and it was an arcade shooter about an alien that crash landed on Earth trying to, you know, get home. When I first played it, it was on the 360, and I don't know if I ever got past level 2. I think I got stuck on the road, like the driving section. At some point, I do want to go back and possibly try Alien Hominid again. I do have an Xbox One S at this point, so I could probably get it. I just need the motivation to do it. It is very much a game of the Newgrounds era. I mean, I believe it was originally a Flash demo. It does look like they actually do have the trailer for the game, probably the HD version. That'd be fun to experience. It is very interesting kind of looking back at that trailer. I do need to go back and play it at some point again fully, rather than like just the first few levels. But yeah, like getting started for it being like the first kind of like official release the team had, it is a pretty good start. Still very like, you know, rough around the edges, but a very good start. Going on to the next one is one that I think a lot of people hold dearly, and I think is a lot of people's introduction to the Behemoth in general, and that's obviously Castle Crashers. This was the first game that I played in the series. I played it at a friend's house on his Xbox 360, then I got an Xbox 360 and got it on there. Later on I got the Steam edition, and yeah, it's something where, like, this game, it's one of the games that first got me into kind of indie games in general. I don't think I would be kind of like in the type of games I am now and kind of so interested in the indie games if it wasn't for something like Castle Crashers. It is a beat 'em up now rather than an arcade shooter, and it is about a group of knights setting out to rescue princesses. Very simple premise. And it's just something where, like, it's a trek. You travel throughout the world, getting different weapons, getting different equipment, trying to level up your characters. Has a lot of just really stupid humor, really dumb fun. On your normal mode, you can basically get through most of it pretty stupidly using just button mashing tactics. That's what I do. But then once you beat the game, you do kind of get the insane mode, where you have to have, like, juggling combos and be able to properly, like, you know, play the game, and that's gross. But it is nice to kind of see that, like, jump in difficulty for people that do want to kind of take it to the extreme. I'm not that type of person. I'm in it for just the simple mode, just to kind of have fun that way. And I think it is something where, like, this is the game for a lot of people that, like, introduce them to the Behemoth. And a lot of people say, like, oh, they need to make a Castle Crashers 2. Will they do it? Hand wavy, we'll see. I have some theories, but it is something where it is just such a good game. It is so much fun. It is something that a lot of my friends and I have bonded over. A lot of people have just like shown the love for Castle Crashers. Everything about this game I love. The art style is so fun and cutesy. The enemies are silly. Bosses are great. The music is phenomenal. I still listen to a lot of Water Flame songs because of playing this game. And it is something where, like, if you've never experienced this, get it, get some friends, and just play through it. Whatever night you pick, you're down to have some fun. And I think that a lot of people will resonate with their favorite nights. Growing up, I believe I was Blue Knight. I would always spam ice. And then later on, I transitioned over to Green Knight. For some reason, I never did... Oh no. Is orange fire or is orange lightning? I think red is lightning. I think red is lightning. And orange is fire. Please don't be wrong, brain. But I never really did, like, the Fire Knight. Which is weird, because of branding. But it is something where, like, I always did love all the knights. Let's take a look at one of the trailers, just to kind of give y'all a feel of the gameplay. God, watching the trailer again, it's just something where this game was my childhood. If you haven't played it yet, please go play it. It makes sense why everyone wants there to be a Castle Crashers 2. Because, like, the amount of impact it has left on people, it's obvious that people want a second one. But we'll have to wait and see on that. The next game on our track is BattleBlock Theater. And this is one that I also still just really do love. A lot of the humor of this game is derived basically from Stamper alone. Stamper just kind of hard carried with his voice acting as the narrator, and it's something where it is just such a good experience. I played so much of it solo, so much of it with friends. It's just a really good time. It very much still gives you like that dumb fun humor, rather than kind of giving you simple like weapon swaps where like each of the different weapons you get is just kind of a different stat swap. This one you get equipable weapons that you can use for either mobility, for trying to take down enemies. It very much does kind of like change the feel of the game, as opposed to Castle Crashers where your weapon choice matters kind of, but not really. And just the assortment of masks you can get is just so good. I always was running the ninja mask when I would play. Either that or burglar. I could never tell what it was. At some point I should check the official name for the mask. The story of this game is that you and all your friends crash land on an island full of cats and a abandoned theater, and your greatest friend, Hattie Haddington, is kidnapped by the cats, and a mysterious hat is placed on his head. And then he becomes kind of the ruler of BattleBlock Theater, and everyone else has to run through basically a death gauntlet in order to collect gems and yarn in order to try and escape and rescue Hattie. Again, just like with Castle Crashers, it is a lot of fun to do, both solo and with a team. And it is something where, like, if you ever have the opportunity to play it, I recommend doing it very much so, especially if you can have a friend join you on this journey. Let's watch one of the story trailers just to kind of, get you a bit of a feel.
'Twas a day like any other day.
Hattie Haddington was the walking definition of handsome gentleman.
In the dictionary.
But an unexpected shipwreck
Scratch.
turned a casual adventure
So casual.
into a desperate fight for their lives. Welcome to prison, they said. Breakfast is served at 8, they said. Brunch doesn't even exist, they said. Please report to the stage and entertain us all with your hilarious death screams, they said. Forget about your friends, they said. Hattie belongs to us now, they said. Well, that's not nice. But you'll play their game, oh yes. You'll collect all the gems, every last sparkly one. You'll traverse these deadly traps. Call this deadly? My grandma's food is more delicious. You'll climb like a monkey. Does the monkey entertain you? And here, we'll go together. It'll be twice as entertaining. Am I right? I am. You'll please the fickle crowd with sweet, mindless violence. You'll tackle whatever they throw at you. Bring it on, you'll scream, as you happily reduce this entire rotten theater to a pile of rubble just to prove a point. Friends are important.
Yeah, this game was one that I first played in, I believe, either late middle school or early high school was when I first ended up playing this. I did end up getting this on Steam, and that was kind of my introduction to it. I was a bit done with my Xbox gaming at the time, but it was something where, like, me and one of my friends, we played through it so much, and it was just a lot of fun. I haven't tried out many of kind of the side games, like all the different mini games you can also play. The ones I did play were enjoyable, but, not really having a full team to play with does kind of put a damper on that. Yeah, it's just another one where it's so much dumb fun you're just going through. It's another high recommendation. Another one where it is just such a good time if you have the chance. Now, the next game on our to-do list is the most recent official release by the Behemoth, and that is Pit People. This was the first game that was coming out when I was kind of aware of them. BattleBlock Theater was already out by the time that I learned about it, where Pit People, I was there kind of for the entire journey. There for the early access period, there for the full release, there when the original announcement came out for it. This one has taken a turn and is a turn-based strategy game, where you are playing as, starting off as Horatio, whose son got kidnapped, and you're setting off on a quest to try and rescue them, meeting a bunch of wacky individuals and fighting a bunch of wackier enemies. Also, there's a giant space bear, and a different giant space bear that crashed into the planet, causing, the apocalypse. Now, this one definitely didn't get as much of a reputation as BattleBlock Theater or Castle Crashers. I think in part to it being in early access and kind of being broken out in terms of releases. That and also turn-based tactics being a pretty different feel as opposed to kind of the previous bit faster-paced games. But I played through it, I beat it, and I very much still did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun for me as somebody who did enjoy turn-based tactics. It was interesting going around, capturing different creatures, getting into different loadouts. Because it is something where, in this game, you are able to capture enemies and have them join your cohort. You can get different equipment, you can have different loadout builds. It is something where, even though it is designed for like a couch co-op, couch play, or just anywhere play turn-based strategy, there is a good amount of depth to it. It is something where there is kind of a lot you can do to build up your teams. A lot of great synergies. You got your Cupcake medics, your Gorgon, or whatever their name in the universe is. Gorgon teammates. Your Fae. It is something where, like, there's just so many interesting creatures in it. As well as Stamper has returned as the voice actor of the bear, Space Bear. I'm not going to say their name as spoilers because I don't remember when it is officially revealed. It's something very fun where you're going through, rather than having him as kind of the jovial narrator of the first game, he is playing a much more cynical and kind of like villainous role, which is still very fun. It's something where, like, I very much still enjoy this game. I never went much into kind of like playing in the actual pit, which is where you could fight other people, mainly because I'm stupid and I don't want to try to figure out kind of how to get the best loadout in order to not die instantly. But that's neither here nor there, and it is something where, you know, it is still a good time. It is something where this one I never really played with other people, so I can't speak to how it is as a co-op experience. But if you are looking for a turn-based tactic game on a hexagonal grid, rather than, you know, your squares that you get for most turn-based tactics, it is a good amount of fun. It really is. Yeah, let us take a look at one of the trailers. The music of this game is also phenomenal. Just hearing it again is just, I love it. I had it in my playlist rotation for quite a while. I do love the soundtrack. It is something where, like, I can definitely see that it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it is just a lot of fun. I really much did enjoy it. I do kind of wish I waited and instead of playing it in early access and, like, going back in, waiting for it to fully come out and experience it all in kind of one big burst. It definitely did make me realize that, like, I should probably stop going as much into early access games, even though it is, like, a decent concept. It is something where I definitely know for myself that I don't like. I kind of burn through my interest in a game during the early access phase. But yeah, I think that this game is just a good amount of fun, great experience. Got a bit botched with the early access continuation, but still, it is a good time. Especially if you do like turn-based tactics and you do want to try and like make a fun loadout. And the last game we're only going to briefly talk about, which is Alien Hominid Invasion, which we talked about in a previous video. If you want to see my reaction to that, click on the title card. To give a quick recap, this is possibly a remake, possibly a sequel, going still into the arcade shooter feel of the original Alien Hominid, with kind of all of their knowledge. It's going to be interesting to see, after about 18 years of making games like this, revisiting their oldest IP to take a look and see, okay, what can we do differently to make this better? It is something where I am very excited for this. I think it'll have a lot of fun to play with friends on. It will be interesting to see if this does become a theme. If after Alien Hominid Invasion, their next game ends up being Castle Crashers 2 or something of the sort. Because them returning back to Alien Hominid does kind of lend a bit of credence to them going back to older IPs. It is something where I don't have much else to say, given that I've already talked about it. But I'm excited for this, and I am excited to see what they do in the future. Anyway, that has been the Behemoth reviewed. They are still one of my favorite developers. I am so excited for Alien Hominid Invasion. It's just to see what else they work on next. They bring such interesting, such goofy and hilarious games out that just are fun to play either by yourself or with friends. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did and you're new to the channel, why don't you subscribe? It really does mean a lot. Anyway, I'm Sam, or the Power Ninja, and see y'all next time. Bye!